This video is sponsored by Squarespace. In this video, I'm going to be comparing the 35mm f1.4 Sony Zeiss versus the new 35mm f1.8 from Sony. Is the older 1.4 lens worth double the price of the new 1.8? Let's find out. Wait for it to focus on the back. Now come up. Do it again. Come up again. Go. Go again. Go ahead. The 35 f1.8 is a lot smaller in person than what it is or what it looks like in video. I found it to be, well, when I came home, pleasantly surprised. It is just about the same size as my 55 1.8 Zeiss. And this lens is small. All right, image quality. The results overall are going to be very similar to the 85 1.4 G Master versus the 85 1.8 video that I did. If you haven't seen that, the link will be down below. What happened was the smaller, cheaper lens outperformed the more expensive lens in sharpness. Same thing here. 35 1.8 is the sharper lens. And I blind tested myself in Lightroom. I noticed it across every image that I guessed I got it right, because the 1.8 is tack sharp. I do prefer the rendering out of the 35 1.4 just because of the dreamy look that you get with it. But if I didn't have this lens and I just had this, I'd be perfectly fine with the images. I wouldn't be like, oh my god, I missed my 1.4, kind of giving you hints into what my preference is in this video. Okay, so now let's talk about the build quality. 35 1.4 weighs 1.4 pounds, whereas the 1.8 weighs 281 grams. That's a big difference. That's a big difference. The 35 1.4 is built like a tank, but don't be fooled. I did drop this lens once and the mount is bent now. So when I attach it to my camera, it's really hard to get it on there. It doesn't have a focus hold button, doesn't have an AF/MF switch, but it has an aperture ring, which I hate this aperture ring. I'm always bumping it. It's so, even when you put it on click mode on, it's still, I bump it all the time. I'm always at f16 when I want to shoot at f1.4. It's the most annoying thing ever. The 35 1.8 is built just like the 85 1.8. It's built okay. It's got a focus hold button and an AF/MF switch. Both lenses, although this one is about double the price, none of them have a weather sealing gasket, so you're not like, oh yeah, if I pay double, I can shoot in the rain with it. It's the same thing with both. You're not getting it. So the flaring test that I did in the video, it can be kind of deceiving. You did see like a bigger flare, when I was shooting with the 35 1.4, but when I actually took the picture, it wasn't there. You couldn't see it. Overall though, I think the 1.8 does a little better when shooting against the sun, because I was literally shooting into the sun. I think the 1.8 kept most of the contrast when it came to the side of the garage. Both of them have chromatic aberration, as you can see on the power line that was running. You could see chromatic aberration on both lenses, but overall I think the 35 1.8, being the cheaper lens, does a better job controlling sun flare and being able to keep the contrast in your image when shooting against the sun. Let's talk about focusing. Both lenses focus really well in good light, identical. Didn't miss one of those test shots that I took in the video. But in low light, the 35-1.8 is faster. The reason why I didn't record it, I just locked myself in my closet, and the 1.8 consistently focused faster. The 1.4 would hunt when it was really dark. The 1.8 would slightly hunt but grab it. It would grab it, and I just found it to be faster and more accurate overall. So if you shoot low light events, although you do get that 1.4 aperture with the 35-1.4, you're gonna get better focusing with the 35-1.8. So this is pretty insane how the cheaper lens is pretty much winning in everything. And that's pretty much my final thoughts on the lens. The 35-1.8, although $750 is not cheap at all by any means, not cheap. Canon has a cheaper one. Nikon has about the same price, 35-1.8, but this is the smaller one out of the bunch, I believe. Definitely smaller than the Nikon one. For the size, for the weight, for the performance, if you're looking for a 35mm lens, I would get the 35-1.8. 35-1.4 I've been using for a while now. You guys know this. I love the output of the lens. Although it's not the sharpest lens, I don't care. The reason why I want to get this lens fixed and I want to sell it, the aperture ring. I hate this aperture ring. I'm always bumping it. I just hate it. Also, the reason why I don't own the Sigma 35-1.4, the reason why I don't like it, it's just too big of a lens. This lens is pretty big as well, and for all purposes, I mean, if I could reduce the weight of my kit, I will do so. Even if I lose the stop of light, I don't care. This lens would fit really nice on a gimbal. Does really well with shooting, more inconspicuous, staying lighter. One-handed shooting sometimes when you just, holding a light on one hand or whatever. I'm going with the 35-1.8. I gotta get this lens fixed. I'm gonna sell it for sure. I do this kind of thing all the time with Sony lenses. Maybe I start branching out and doing Canon and Nikon, but I like doing these comparison videos to help you make a better buying decision, because it isn't easy. But I'm doing all the hard work here. All right. So if you enjoyed it, subscribe. If you want to see more, let me know down below what you think of the results. But before I go, let me send a shout out to my sponsor for this video, Squarespace. If you're looking for a website, blog, or an online store, make sure to check out Squarespace. I've been using them for years. And my favorite feature of Squarespace is the fact that if I get bored of my template, if I get bored of my website, I can change the entire layout with a click of a button. I can actually preview other different looks, and then I can just, by a click of a button, change the whole look of my website, and everything would just transform itself, and I absolutely love it. Check it out. The link will be down below. Use the coupon code Manny, okay? And you're gonna get 10% off your first purchase. So make sure to check them out. Thank you, Squarespace, for sponsoring this video. And I'm gonna see you in the next one.